Hi lovelies! Welcome back to our channel. Just me today, Megan. I'm here to talk about a very important topic close to my heart, or rather close to my hand. If you aren't aware, hi, this is Handy. I have filmed some videos all about my limb difference, so I will link them below. Check out the hashtag HiHandy on Instagram. I'm making this video about the movie The Witches and how we are not happy with their portrayal of limb differences.
Hi, my name's Shannon. I'm 24 years old. I have a limb difference, also known as ectrodactyly, which affects my hands and my feet, meaning I was born with 2 fingers and 1 toe.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Smith. I'm a former Australian Paralympic swimmer, now living in Dubai.
Hey everyone, my name's Kaylee Flaker. I'm from North Carolina and I was born without my right hand and forearm due to amniotic band syndrome.
Hi, I'm Bryony and I was born with a limb difference. I've got no fingers on my left hand. I was on the Great British Bake Off in 2018 and I'm now a TV presenter on Food Unwrapped on Channel 4.
Hi, my name is Shahali Ayers and I'm a congenital amputee.
Hi, I'm Claire Cashmore, one of the ambassadors for Reach. I am from Kidderminster and I am missing my lower left limb.
Hello, my name is Emily and I was born with a limb difference, as you can see. This is my arm.
Hi, I'm Jude Hamer. I play wheelchair basketball for Great Britain. I'm a 2-time Paralympian. My disability is PFFD, it's proximal focal femoral deficiency. I was born with it and at the age of 15 I chose to have my leg amputated.
Hi, I'm Kelly Knox. I am a model, a disability activist, all about that self-love and empowerment. I was born with my left hand not there from my forearm.
Hello, my name's Becky and I was born with limb difference. Ta-da! As you can see, I've got no elbows and 2 fingers on each hand. Whoop.
Hi, I'm Ruth Madeley and I'm an actress from Bolton in Greater Manchester. I have spina bifida and scoliosis and I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user.
Hi, my name is Alex. My little girl Lennon was born with a limb difference. She's missing her ulnar bone and she only has 3 fingers on her left hand.
So I don't know if you saw recently, but there's a lot of controversy going on about the new movie The Witches.
The Witches movie.
Which is obviously a remake of Roald Dahl's The Witches.
I read the book when I was a kid and it was terrifying.
Oh, The Witches film.
So what do I think of The Witches movie?
Right, where do I start?
In this adaptation, they decided to give Anne Hathaway a visible limb difference.
Really disappointing.
In the original novel and in the 1990s film, the witch had 5 fingers and had long claws. Yet in the recent remake, she has been given the disability of ectrodactyly.
Why have they done that?
Why?
They use a limb difference, or rather a real life disability, as a characteristic for the witches to make them more evil and scary.
This is really bad.
And it's used as something to attach more kind of scariness, otherness and evil to their characters.
So we're not just like, oh, they gave a witch a limb difference. It's like they purposefully gave the witch a limb difference in order to make them more scary.
The big shock is that as they pull off their gloves, they reveal that they're missing fingers.
Extra reveal to how scary they are.
I think it's heartbreaking.
This addition to the character's image is really confusing, and the only reason for it is to make the character seem more scary and demonise her.
Thank you for that.
Unnecessary. Why did they need to change the cat-like claws into a real life disability?
I was deeply disheartened to learn that she was portrayed in this role with a limb difference.
I think it's devastating.
It upset me a lot.
I was really sad.
I felt anger and sadness and disappointment and hurt. I felt hurt for Lennon and for everybody out there that has a limb difference.
I don't think they needed to have that in there to make it scary. Making them look completely different to their human form is enough.
I think it's going to do a lot of damage and probably has already done a lot of damage.
And that's kind of why it's a problem, because here they're showing that it's, you know, something to be hidden. And it's not. It's something you should be incredibly proud of. If you have limb difference, it is beautiful.
When I saw the picture of Anne Hathaway with those hands, I just burst into tears. And I'm a pretty, confident, self-assured 36-year-old woman. So the thought of a young child with a limb difference seeing that is devastating, really is.
The reason that we have an issue with this is because there's a complete lack of representation of limb differences or disabilities, and then when they are used, it's to show that it's something to be feared.
When it's in a negative light like this, it's incredibly disappointing because, you're finally seeing someone like you on screen, but it's attached to something that should be, hidden under gloves, or someone that's scary.
Now, I'm sorry. Is this scary?
The issue here is that there's already a massive stigma attached to disability, and there's so much negative portrayal of disability in the media already, and this just adds on top of it.
Unfortunately, this will probably have a negative impact on kids in many ways.
In the eyes of someone who doesn't have a disability or a limb difference, they probably look past this, they probably don't even see it, and they don't think it's a big deal. But as someone with a limb difference, we can see how harming this message can be.
I think it's taking a step back in the limb different community, and that's diminishing all the work that we've put in so far to end bullying, systemic oppression, and misrepresentation in the mainstream media.
The Grand High Witch with her hands in such a way just adds to the stigma of disability. We've come so far in the last 10 years, let's not go back a step or a million steps.
I know how long it took me to learn to love myself and to identify as disabled.
If you didn't know, it took me years, I'm not just saying years, to come to terms with having a limb difference. Which is why a lot of you don't know about it still, because it's never been obvious. I used to hide it, and it's still subconsciously hidden. Don't mean to, sorry about that. So yeah, if I'd seen this as a child, Lord knows how long it might have actually taken me to come to terms with and embrace my limb difference.
It's something that I had to kind of grow confidence in. Growing up in my teens, I wanted to fit in as much as possible. So much so that I would hide my hands. I would always want to wear long sleeves, pretty much do anything to hide them. I just didn't want to stick out, basically. I wanted to be like everyone else, and I didn't want to be different, which is not how I feel now, thank goodness.
So I think that when we're misrepresented in the media, that we have this decreased self-worth where we feel like we don't belong or we don't have a place.
We are made to feel that we're not inmates of society and we are outcasts.
I just think this is creating and heightening age-old stigma that we don't need. We need positive representation.
And to change the stigma and stereotypes and perceptions around disability, we need a true, positive, impactful, purposeful representation of disability.
This is really negative for young people, for anybody with a disability, a limb difference. Maybe this is the first time they've seen someone who looks like them in the media, and it's then being portrayed as a villain.
You have kids who have a limb difference who are most likely going to be watching this film, enjoying it, and then all of a sudden the witch, who has concealed their hand in gloves which look like they have 5 fingers, takes off their glove to reveal that they actually basically have 3 fingers, a very real life limb difference.
She depicts limb difference in a way that is scary and sends a very wrong message to young children who are living with a limb difference.
When I saw the Witches film and I saw how the hands were portrayed, that really got to me, knowing that it's not just missing fingers, it's a disability.
In the film, when the witch is being portrayed as a human and she's concealing her identity as a witch, she has 5 fingers. When it's revealed that she's actually a witch and she takes off her gloves, that's when we can see that she has the 3 fingers, which is a resemblance to ectrodactyly. This is an issue because it is solely pairing that characteristic up with the evil side of her, rather than just giving her 3 fingers when she's a human and when she's a witch.
When you're young and those are your formative years and you see representation of people similar to you in a negative way, and I'm saying this from experience, but it's very difficult to separate those things and see myself confidently and see myself with love and respect, when society and the world was portraying things as bad or evil or disgusting.
This is a very real life human characteristic that they have used to make someone not seem human. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
To have that then depicted as scary in something like a witch, that's quite upsetting, especially as it's a children's film.
This is a kids' movie.
If there's a child watching this that has a limb difference, either is exactly the same or different, they're then going to be like, oh no, is this something that I should be hiding? Is this something that people are going to be scared about? Does this mean I'm a witch? Who knows what they're going to be thinking? I'm not a witch. Doesn't mean a witch is a bad thing. In the movie, a witch is evil and a bad thing.
I think that's not a true representation of what a witch is. Witches are not scary. A true witch is a woman in her power, a healer, a sorceress, a goddess. A witch is something spiritual, and that's nothing to be feared as well.
But if you want to watch American Horror Story, I'd like to be Supreme, thank you very much. And I feel like Supreme would just happen to have a limb difference and it would make her really cool and badass. But in the Witches movie, no, that's not what's happening. So firstly, the reason that the limb difference community are upset about this is the impact that it might have on a child with a limb difference or disability watching the movie.
I got a special hand. As a mum, it's hard when you see a character being made to look like your child, but it's evil, it's an evil character. It's not easy to then try and explain that. How do you explain that away to your child? I don't think that you can. On the other hand, that felt a lot more genuine, a lot more sincere, and I felt grateful, very, very grateful that she had apologised and used her platform to raise that awareness, because that's the amount of people that she can reach is fantastic, it's amazing, and I am hopeful that this will now prevent anything like this from happening again. Whether that does or not, I don't know, but I am really...
Children are born with this disability. It kind of reiterates that whole disabled people are creepy, scary.
Particularly because it's a children's film and they're in that stage of building up their resilience and confidence. It's just such a shame, and it's incredibly frustrating to see a film like this give agency to other people, and also those with limb difference, to see themselves as, you know, scary, something that should be hidden, villain-like. Because it's hard being different, to see kind of maybe your irrational thoughts that you might have about yourself, your limb difference, on screen being kind of validated is, you know, such a shame and so frustrating.
It made me so sad to think that disabled kids would watch that film and see that their limb difference was a trait of a witch or a baddie in a film.
That's why it's so important that we are represented in a true way to help and empower other children who may be born this way, to know that they are worthy and they deserve to be seen, they deserve to be felt, they deserve to be understood fully and completely.
Then there's also other children watching the movie that will see this limb difference and think, ah, makes them a witch.
Children, a lot of the time, children aren't exposed to people with differences. And so for a lot of children that don't have disabilities or have never seen it before, there's no one in their family that has a disability, this will be their introduction to a limb difference. Their introduction will be of limb difference being something scary, bad, shocking, all of these negative things.
It's really important that able-bodied children grow up in a society where they can see someone in a wheelchair with a hand not there, or a leg, or anything else, and know that, oh, it's normal.
Disability isn't something that's bad or terrifying, and I wouldn't want the next generation of children to grow up to think that that is the way it is.
But now they have to deal with this movie. It's not just going to be here 1 year and gone the next. People are going to know about it. It's going to be embedded into their very first impression of what a limb difference is. And that's even going to be even harder for people like myself and people trying to break the stigma to get past that because it's the foundation.
So essentially, this children's movie is not putting out the best message about limb differences. Why can't a really nice character in it just happen to have a limb difference? No, it has to be revealed to be a characteristic of the witch. Also, what a lot of people are saying about the movie is, what's your issue? This is what the book or the film previously was all about. No, it wasn't. If you look, I will show you that the witches were depicted, or drawn even, to have 5 fingers. What characterised them was the fact that they had long claws.
I thought they just had claws, and I'm pretty sure even in the illustrations in the book they just have like long nails, like claw-like nails.
Does that say 3 fingers? No. In the drawing, it just means that they have very long nails, basically. So how did that turn into, I know, let's give them a disability? That's it.
And yeah, maybe talking about square toes and things like that in the book isn't ideal, obviously, like talking about missing toes and stuff, but it was written in the 80s, and obviously that doesn't make it okay, but it was a completely different time. And in 2020, we don't need to be making things accurate towards books that were written, you know, nearly 40 years ago.
I just want to say, there is nothing wrong with any of us who have limb differences. Nada.
A body part doesn't make you ugly, or a missing body part. And I say missing, but truly there is nothing missing, because yes, I have one hand, but I'm still a whole, complete person.
For me, being born with limb difference has just been such a blessing. I would not have it any other way. I think it's just given me the best perspective on life.
This here is a little hand that I had when I was a baby. It's horrible. It's hard. Can you imagine having to wear this as a baby? It's awful. It must have been so uncomfortable for me. But the reason why I was made to wear it was not to help me. It was to make me look normal. It was to make me fit into society, so I didn't look weird or ugly or grotesque. Why should I have had to cover myself up with this, especially as a baby? And also, my mum has a picture of me when I'm about 2. A professional photographer took images of me. And for years my mum had it up on the wall, and I did not put 2 and 2 together, but I had a bunch of flowers in front of my left side of my body. He hid that on purpose because it made him feel uncomfortable. Is that okay? It's not. It needs to go.
Warner Brothers and their
apology.
I'm sorry that you're offended.
Her hands do not look like cat-like claws to me.
An apology from the actress Anne Hathaway.
Much nicer.
It's heartfelt.
Sincere.
A negative comment
from people who just don't understand the concept of ableism.
I promise you, I do not get offended easily.
The only positive that's come out of this is all of us speaking up about it.
Started to make people think and heighten the awareness.
When we know more, we can do more. And when we know more, we can do better.
That is why I think there needs to be a dramatic change in the way disabled bodies are portrayed.
Must do better. Must do better.
We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be embraced, celebrated, represented. We are worthy.
Limb difference is beautiful.